Have you ever thought about strapping a bomb to someone and sending them to rob a bank? I hope your answer to that question was no, bro. But anyways, I wanted to talk about the pizza bomber. I hope to inform you guys a bit about the incident and, inspire you to look at other videos about it. I want to make this clear, the actions described in this video are all real, but please do not recreate them, and I do not condone them in any way, shape, or form. Viewer discretion is advised. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Brian Wells was born on November 15th, 1956, in the small town of Warren, Pennsylvania. His early childhood isn't really documented at all, or at least it just, isn't publicly documented. But from what I could piece together, Brian lived in his early to later childhood in Erie, PA. Along with the unknown life of his childhood, Brian's life prior to the bombing is also private and not documented. From the little bits and pieces of information, Brian just seemed to be your average middle-class man. He worked at Mamma Mia's Pizzeria, mainly as a pizza delivery man. And Mamma Mia's Pizzeria was just, a local pizza place in Erie, PA. This case had the FBI stumped, as they hadn't seen one like it yet. An event where a hostage was supposedly being forced to rob a bank was very unheard of in the early 2000s. I mean, even now, cases like this are practically non-existent due to how severe the situation is. Leading up to the event itself, Brian was called in to deliver a pizza to an address on the outskirts of Erie. 8631 Peach Street was the site of a TV tower and was also the place where Wells went to deliver the pizza. While searching for this information, I found a legal document that contains a memorandum order. It was a ruling by Judge Sean J. McLaughlin on a change of venue filed by
Marjorie Deal Armstrong.
So basically, this means that Judge Sean McLaughlin denied this woman's request to move her trial from Erie. Ultimately, the trial still proceeded in Erie, which resulted in her conviction of robbery and conspiracy charges. But more about Armstrong later. The FBI's public archive website mentions that at about 2 p.m., the co-conspirators attached the bomb device to Wells's neck. After Wells had the bomb chassis locked around his neck, he was pretty much just sent off to the bank, and a little under 2 miles down the highway, there it was, the PNC Bank. It was estimated that about 20 minutes afterwards, Wells arrived at the bank on August 28th, 2003, at around 2:27 in the afternoon. Wells was of medium height and stocky, had blue jeans, and wore 2 t-shirts. The one underneath was described to be gray, while the one on top was a big, baggy, and white t-shirt. As Brian approached Barbara
Lipinski,
the teller, she had stated that he had to wait in line like everyone else. After this little statement, Brian handed over the note to Barbara, stating his demands. The note requested a grand total of $250,000, or about $417,000 in today's money. Although Wells was asking for $250,000, Barbara only had access to the cash drawer under the counter as her manager was out on lunch break. Brian ended up only getting about $8,700, or about $14.5 grand today. Following this encounter, Wells had left the building at 2:38 p.m. with the bag of money. Police had been quickly called by one of the bank's customers, and Brian was quickly detained outside. Outside watching him were a whole bunch of policemen along with state troopers. He was becoming more and more frantic and nervous as time kept passing. After talking some more and making more attempts to get the troopers to actually do something, Brian Douglas Wells said his last words. At exactly 3:18 p.m., the bomb fastened around his neck exploded and instantly killed him. The bomb squad arrived 3 minutes after the fact. Wells's family was obviously devastated, but held on to the fact that he was an innocent victim forced into the robbery. Many of the people were shocked and shaken, to say nonetheless, that a crime of this level could occur in their relatively smaller town. Obviously, while questions still remain about Wells's participation, the public was invested in the situation as the investigation actually unfolded. Media channels such as ABC News and Erie News Now, along with other broadcasting stations from around the world, were trying to get as much information as they could. The FBI eventually convicted conspirators Marjorie Dell Armstrong on November 1st, 2010, and Kenneth Barnes, December 2008. Following this sentence, a judge halved the sentence for Kenneth in 2011, although he would die to cancer on June 20th in 2019.
Marjorie,
on the other hand, would die on April 4th, 2017 due to breast cancer. But people now know that the situation was actually a lot more complex. Armstrong wanted to kill her father for all his money and wanted all of his property and whatnot. So to actually kill him, she hired Kenneth Barnes, who was a drug buddy of hers. She didn't have any money for Barnes, so they pretty much just kind of like, I'm still unsure exactly on how they got Brian Wells into this, but the money that Brian would get from the bank, the $250,000, all that money, that would be paid to Kenneth Barnes to kill Armstrong's dad, so she could get all his money. It's a bit of a complex situation. I know that's probably a bit of an oversimplification of things, but to be real with you guys, I don't even really know the full extent of the situation. Then again, I wasn't even alive when this happened, but that's just a basic summary of the entire incident. I suggest if you guys want more information about this, I would go watch the documentary on Netflix. It's called Evil Genius. It's about 4 episodes, but I don't have Netflix, so I can't watch it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this little documentary I put together. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed the video because I needed to spice up my content a little bit. And basically, only playing Sons of the Forest is something that I have been a bit bored about for a while now. Although I love the game still, I have more plans in the future about different video games or, just video projects like this one. I do hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys later.